Ho, 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 and happy holidays.
We did say we were going to have some fun with this one.
I think so. I mean, we can have fun. We're fun people. So we are coming at you on Monday, December 19th, if you are listening to this on the day this episode drops. And this is going to be our last episode until after the holidays, until 2023. Holy moly. And we're dropping this on a Monday instead of on a Friday because this is a real hot button topic and it's very timely. It's very, very timely. And I know for a fact that many of you listening are dashing around like, what the heck do I get my child's teacher, therapist, whatever for a gift? And I know this as somebody who has many friends with children, and the amount of text messages I start getting this time of year about what are good, quote unquote, gifts for educators is really from people I don't hear from very often.
I hope she's listening. I will throw my aunt out there right now. I won't forget last year, a few days before Christmas, her frantically texting me. One of her good friends is a principal. And she was texting me, "What do you get a principal? I don't know what to get a principal." So this is for everybody who works in a school.
And I think it's well, first of all, it's funny because you can sometimes have very close yet very distant, because it's a professional relationship with your child's educators, right? These are people that you are very likely speaking with, if not every day, at least once a week, at least once a month, if not more, depending on how involved, and different caregivers are involved in different levels, depending on how involved in how much support your child needs due to their disability, right? You might have had some of the same team members since preschool. Yeah. I have students with hearing loss, deaf, hard of hearing, who have had the same teacher of hearing impaired students from preschool up through graduation. Like, that's a long distance relationship, right? But it's still so you feel very close to this person. They've probably been by your side for some really hard moments, some very joyful moments, but at the same time, it's still a professional relationship with boundaries. So it's like, oh, I don't know what to give you, right? So we have a little list here today of some things that hopefully make your gift buying a little easier.
And some of them are our own experiences, things that we've got and loved. And some are things that we have just heard from other educators, specialists, principals, that they have loved as well. And I'll get us started with a little personal anecdote. When I was a high school teacher, I had a student who was very, very creative and artistic. And she made me a pencil holder in her pottery class.
Oh.
And that was, it's got to be 6 or 7, maybe even longer years ago. And to this day, I have the pencil holder. Now it's in my home office since I'm not in a school anymore. But I do think of not just her when I see that pencil holder, but I think of that class. I think of that whole course that I taught that year. And it's a great memory, not just of getting a holiday gift, but of reminding me of a group of students that I was really connected to, that I loved, that I really had a great year with. And so that was something that was handmade, that she made in a class that she was taking. And she gifted to not just me, but to other teachers as well. And I thought that was a really practical, holds all my pencils and pens, but also really thoughtful gift.
I love that. And I was actually thinking, I finally decorated my tree last night, and some of my favorite gifts and I know not everybody celebrates Christmas, and I know not everybody has a tree. So this is, something that, even if it's not Christmas themed, if it's just like some sort of could be an ornament, but it could be something else, or you could just stay away from this, obviously. But some of my favorite gifts that I have had from students in the past, and even from my nieces and nephews, and other children in my life, are ornaments. I think that's like such a special time to have something that's homemade. Sometimes they're made with like a picture of the kiddos. It's handprints, or it's usually something it's really cute, right? And then it's something that every year when I'm decorating my tree, I'm like, oh yeah, this, I remember so-and-so. This was such a fun group of kids in this group. And it's a nice way to remember that group of kiddos, right?
I love that. So really, I think anything homemade, and that kind of goes at any age. I can speak for myself. I keep cards. I've kept cards for over 15 years. I keep them in binders. And it's nice to look back at them. It's nice to have them. And so, we don't think it's necessary for you to go out and spend a lot of money, especially if your child has a big team, not just a teacher, but specialists, other folks in the school you want to give to. I think that homemade is a way to go. I think that cards are a way to go. There is absolutely no expectation, obviously, that you have to give gifts to all of those people. If you are wanting to buy gifts for a teacher or a couple of teachers, some super practical things to do if you know that the teacher is a coffee drinker. Many teachers are coffee drinkers or tea drinkers, run on caffeine. A gift card to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or something is a great gift. I was recently given, not by a student, but I was recently given a coffee subscription where I get coffee monthly through a subscription. That is a wonderful, wonderful gift. It's also one of those things I know that some teachers wait for Friday and have a special Friday. They stop on their way to work and get a coffee. Maybe they don't make it at home that morning. And that's kind of a nice way to contribute to that nice ritual, especially if it's a celebratory ritual or something that's part of their weekly routine.
And something to go along with that, if you're somebody, I know my mom's always like, I don't like giving gift cards. It feels so impersonal. A coffee gift card, even if it's local coffee shop or whatever, getting a mug, right? And there's also, if we piggyback kind of on those homemade gifts, there are lots of crafty gifts where the students can kind of decorate the inside of the mug and then it closes. I have a couple of travel mugs like that. I actually have a planter, the thing you put the plant in. Pot. Thank you. Sheesh. A pot for a plant that the students in a classroom decorated.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So things like that are also really cute. So something like a mug to go with the gift card or just the mug alone is also something that's really fun and cute.
Before we move on, you just made me think of something, a great point. Any way that you can choose somewhere local if you're going to do coffee or a restaurant gift card. We are in Massachusetts. I think we only have one now, but there's a coffee shop that Michelle and I love. It's called Biddy and Bose. If you have not been there yet or heard of it yet, look them up. It's a local coffee shop to us that employs young adults and adults with disabilities. And so if you're wanting to kind of double down and also support a local place, same goes for local restaurants. If you're wanting to get maybe your kiddo's teacher or specialist a night out to dinner or a takeout night so that they don't have to cook one night, thinking of maybe local places, local establishments that might make a gift card or gift certificate a little bit more personal, and might not feel as impersonal.
So I do think it's important to note that educators are not expecting huge monetarily valuable gifts. And I do know in Massachusetts, and I'm going to assume in many other states, there is actually a price limit on the amount of money you can gift somebody. And in Massachusetts, that is $49.99. I have had some families very kindly try to give me gift cards and things over that amount and having to give it back. Yep. The way a lot of schools, and this is something you'll want to check in with too, is if your school has an active PTO and or like room parents, oftentimes at the holidays and at the end of the school year, there'll be a donate what you can and are comfortable with. And then the room parent will then purchase something so that all folks who can and want to are, and the teacher doesn't know who contributed how much or how, or didn't contribute, to get a class gift. So that's also, you might want to check in because the gift giving may already be taken care of or already be organized.
Good point. Also, you bring up a great point about not having to get something that's super expensive or like monetarily. It should not be something that has any sort of a bearing on you or your family. This is not meant to be stressful for you. If you choose to have your child make a card, or if you choose to contribute to a fund and anywhere in between, you're saying thank you to the folks that work with your kid, and you're recognizing their work with your kid. And it really so much is not about the value. If you're looking for ways to say thank you to a teacher, but also kind of contribute to the classroom and to the classroom environment, there are some other super practical things that you can do. One I love is contributing to a classroom library. If you have a couple of favorite books that maybe you have at home, or if there are new books coming out, it's likely that maybe the teacher doesn't have a copy of it yet for their classroom library, or maybe you want to gift a couple of copies of a book if it's something that kids are really into. I can speak to really older kids, but I just remember so many times there would be new trendy books. Diary of the Wimpy Kid is what comes to my mind.
Oh, yeah.
There would be like trendy books and series of books, and it would be kind of difficult to keep up with the demand for them. So if you know that there is a new trendy book that kids are reading, maybe a copy of it is something that you can get that wouldn't be super expensive, but you can help the teacher build their classroom library. A lot of times, personal classroom libraries are pretty much outfitted by the classroom teacher. Those are books that the teacher has sometimes or typically bought with their own money. So if you want to contribute in that way, there are also lots of other things that teachers use and love. Michelle and I could probably spend a full 20-minute episode talking about stationery, but I'll pass this over to Michelle to talk about briefly stationery.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much all educators, and of course, I'm not going to say all because there are some who probably don't care, love really nice, pens that write really smooth, multicolored pens, right? Cute sticky notes, stickers, things like that. Teachers love that stuff. So highlighters, all of those things. So a cute packet of different stationery type things are usually going to light up their day.
I should note that one of my favorite student gifts was a pack of avocado Post-it notes.
Ooh.
Post-it notes in the shape. So this was years ago, and I still remember. So we love stationery. Educators love stationery. And that's something that can be inexpensive. And just a nice thank you, but a small thank you that, won't break the bank, especially if you're, wanting to give, like I said before, to more than just one person on your child's team. Perhaps they have a bigger team.
For sure. And the other thing, and this kind of goes along with the ornaments idea, but some of the best gifts that I've ever received from students has been photographs in a cute frame, or sometimes it's a homemade frame, or sometimes it's just the picture of maybe you chaperoned on your child's field trip and you were able to capture a cute picture of the teacher with your child, or a cute picture of your child, the teacher, and a couple of classmates, something like that. Or depending on the age, if from the school's magic show or the winter wonderland or fall festival thing, whatever schools do, right? Everybody calls them different things. So having something like that, where maybe you were able to capture a moment of the teacher with your child, that's going to be a really special gift for that teacher to receive.
And just thinking, like I said, I'm remembering a couple of things that I received probably close to 10 years ago, right? I think it's nice to get like a gift card. It's nice to get a coffee. It's nice to get some of those things. But oftentimes what makes teachers and other professionals in schools look back and remember your child or a whole classroom of kids or an entire school year are some of those homemade, tangible things, pictures,
Absolutely.
that you can look back on years from now and that are really special and different.
Some things that I would say to stay away from, only because you're not sure about personal style or whatever. Things like jewelry can be real tricky, can be real hit or miss. Clothing can be real hit or miss, especially you're getting into sizes, right? Tote bags. I feel like teachers are typically super into tote bags. It's kind of like stationery, right? So if you really are inclined, like maybe a monogrammed tote bag or something like that, I would say that's probably the closest I would really recommend getting into any sort of like clothing or jewelry or anything like that. Perfume, I would not recommend getting into perfume. Even bath products. I know we're thinking about like stress relief, maybe a really nice, like subtle scented hand lotion, but you never know if somebody has allergies or things like that. And they'll feel sad if it's something that they're not able to use. So those things can be a little trickier. So hopefully some of these other ideas have given you ideas that are doable without going overboard.
Yes. And that's the key. Don't go overboard.
Don't go overboard.
Because like Michelle said, first of all, there are many rules in place that you cannot go overboard, but it's also just, it's not the point at all, especially in an already stressful holiday season. We are putting out this episode today to have a little fun, give you some quirky and quick and easy ideas, but also to just acknowledge that this is a stressful time for a lot of folks, whether you celebrate a holiday during the season or not. And there are already lots of things to do and people are already running around, and the prospect of the kids being on a holiday break and being home and disruptions to schedules and so on and so forth. This should not be just another thing that feels stressful and feels anxiety producing. So if you can, have a little fun with it. Make it into a craft night at home if you can, a couple of nights before the last day before the break. But certainly do not just have this be something else that adds to your already incredibly full plate.
And I mean, it might even be something that you do during the December break.
Yeah.
And then gift it as like a New Year's gift, or save it for, February, or it really doesn't. I think a big point here too is I don't know any educators who would be like, I can't believe so-and-so didn't give me a gift.
Exactly.
Right. So if you are in a place where time got away from you, it was on your list, or maybe it's not something you choose to do. Maybe you are somebody who does not give.
Yep.
That is something that will not be held against your child, right? So that is not the point. But hopefully, if you are looking for some ideas, if you are wondering, like pretty much all of my friends every single year, is like, what should I give the teacher? What do teachers like? Hopefully this list gives you a little bit of a jumping off point for you to just have some fun, get creative, and get your child involved as much as possible. Have your child pick something out or design or decide within reason, obviously. Some of these kiddos have expensive taste.
And let's have a little fun with this topic. Let us know. So this, like Michelle said, if you're listening on Monday, you're listening on the podcast, but we'll also post something on Instagram. So leave us a comment. Let us know. Do you have any other ideas? Are you a teacher who's gotten something cool and unique? Tell us and tell everybody about it. Are you a parent who has gifted something cool and unique, drop us a note, drop us a comment, let everyone else know what that thing was as we all race towards that last day of school before the holiday break. And as some of us wait to the last minute to buy gifts and gifts.
That's me. That's me. And again, this is our last episode until 2023. So we look forward to seeing you in the new year. And as always, we are so, so grateful for you being here, for you sharing episodes with your family and friends, for following us on wherever you're listening, whether it's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Pods. Just so, we appreciate you so much, and we do hope that you have a relaxing and very happy new year. So we will see you then.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. See you in 2023.